Awesome, man. Do you want to just walk the crowd through what LawAdvisor is, your journey so far?
Yep. We make it easier for people to understand what to do when you've got a legal problem, and from there to actually work with your lawyer online from start to finish. So the bad thing about lawyers is that we're stuck in the old ages. We're all dinosaurs. So even with me working with our lawyers, they send me a hard copy document of all their invoices. And the law firm was chasing me up saying, "Brennan, you haven't paid us for 3 months." I said, "Well, I haven't received the invoice." And they said, "Oh, we mailed it 3 months ago." Who the hell checks their postal mailbox nowadays? So apparently I needed to sign it off online, tell them that we're happy to accept it by email and we're happy to pay for it online. Who the hell does that? So a big part of LawAdvisor is we actually provide each lawyer with a virtual practice. So they can work with their clients online, get all their invoicing done online, get all their payments online, to actually interact with their clients all through our platform. But,
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, awesome. So the topic of this presentation is what's the advantages of not closing, which seems like a little bit of clickbait, which has worked because everyone's here.
Matthew forced me to come up with a novel title, so...
Uniqueness always sounds.
Yeah.
What's it mean?
I'll take you through it. As founders, we're really, really optimistic. So we think we can build the next Facebook for $20,000, but that's never the case. So when we were fundraising, in my head, I thought I could build my product for 50, 60,000. So brief background, I'm a lawyer, but I used to be a computer programmer. So I thought, okay, I can really do this really quickly and for really, really cheaply. So I thought, okay, 50K, that's all I need, but it never turns out to be the case. So our angel round, we opened it up to accept a maximum of 1 million. I got quite a few number of angel investors interested. So being in the legal profession, I knew quite a lot of rich law firm partners. I was one of the main guys who invented the Supreme Court's case management system, and from there, a few of the major law firms, they actually wanted a similar product. I refused contracts to build a product for each law firm, and instead we wanted to create a SaaS product where every lawyer can actually subscribe and use our product. But because of that interest, we were able to raise quite a lot of money from law firm partners. But even then, even though the round was open for 1 mil, we only got 300K straight off the bat. But with that 300K, I was able to start, keep building, prove traction, and then actually approach my next round of investors and say, "Hey guys, the round's still open. We can actually still accept money from you guys at this initial valuation." So it was much easier to get the next 300K, to get the next 300K, because I did leave the round open. As a lawyer, I thought about the structure quite thoroughly, but I found out, like, after going to Silicon Valley, they've got an investment process that's actually built specifically to do something like this. So I don't know if you guys know Y Combinator.
Yeah, show of hands. Yeah.
They incubated Airbnb, Dropbox, really popular SaaS-based platforms, but they've got this thing called a safe. So essentially, it keeps your round open for a certain period of time. You can accept money as it comes in, and you can keep closing out until that duration of time lapses. But again, it's been really helpful for us because I accepted 300K straight off the bat, built the product, built more traction, and then gone to my next round of investors and go, "Hey guys, it's an opportunity for you guys to come back in before I raise the value." So even though our round was actually open for 1 million, we stopped it at 700K. Yeah. Then we started opening our next round at a significantly higher valuation. So that's the benefit of not closing your round.
Yeah, awesome. So like when you mean not closing around, it doesn't necessarily mean what's the benefit of getting like a rejection. It's like technically speaking.
I never got rejected.
There you go. No, awesome. So like you touched on your background in the legal system really helping you.
Yeah. So again, I think you spoke about the story, or Matt?
Yeah.
Having a real story has been what's the word? I'm so jet lagged. Helpful, really, really helpful. So I didn't have a business plan. I still don't have a business plan. I don't know how to monetize my bloody product.
Kids out there, you don't need a business plan.
Yeah, but if you can prove that you're a domain expert, people are going to take notice. If you can prove the problem and if you can prove your solution to that problem, well, what VCs do is add the expertise to monetize your product. So all my meetings, I didn't go out there pretending that I knew everything. So even though I feel like I know everything, I don't pretend that I know like how to monetize the business. That's what your investors are there for. So they can give you advice about the proper business models. They're going to give you money if you do this and do that. You're going to listen to that advice. You need that money.
Like, that's awesome. I think like towing the line, are you ever scared of coming across like dumb? So no, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way at all, but like I think there is some sort of like hesitation for people to admit they don't know something, right? And especially when you're walking into an investor meeting where you're supposed to be this, like, again, not you particularly, but like people in general are supposed to know this field inside out. Are you ever hesitant to admit that you don't know?
So with LawAdvisor, obviously I know the legal profession back to front. So I'm a PhD student as well, looking at the future of legal practice in the digital age. So these are my strengths. So you definitely have to play to your strengths. But when it comes to the money side, that's not my strength. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an accountant. I've never known anything about the financial elements. What I do know is how to solve this huge problem. So there's 12,000 lawyers graduating every single year who can't get a job. And on the flip side, the market, there's actually 8.5 million legal problems, and only 16% of those problems actually make it to see a lawyer. Yet every single day you hear in the news that there's this oversupply of lawyers problem. How can there be an oversupply of lawyers and then this massive amount of unmet legal need? This is my strength. Like, I know what I believe LawAdvisor can fix that. We act as a bridge to get all these lawyers servicing the unmet legal market. But going back to your question, the VCs are there to help you with your business model. At the end of the day, you're looking for a partner. You're looking for a relationship. So if they believe enough in your problem, if they believe enough in your solution, they're going to help you form that business model. Startups are naturally always evolving. So you might think of a solution, but after 2 months, even 3 months, you're going to pivot. You're going to redevelop your product. You're going to repurpose your product. And we keep doing that, and the investors have believed in us enough to go on that journey with us. But again, you do have to play to your strengths. If you don't have that domain knowledge, you do have to prove that you know how you're going to monetize a product. You do need that business plan. But we've been able to, we've been lucky enough to get out of that discussion.
You know, that's really interesting insight in terms of this whole debate between being a specialist or a generalist, right? Like having to know every single area of startup. What Brennan's talking about, his first-hand experience that you don't have to know every single thing, and it doesn't hurt, and there is nothing wrong with reaching out, and it's hugely humbling and like a testament to his character. So that's awesome, and that's really cool. So you've traveled around a lot of different places to raise money. Can you tell us a little bit about the differences between what you found with Australian investors versus people in Silicon Valley versus potentially in the UK?
Yeah. Australian investors are really, really risk averse. So they're the ones who need a business plan. So I was like, no way. I don't have time to build a business plan. I've got no time to build a 200-page document. No way. But I did get started off with those angel investors. So those law firm partners who gave me that initial 300. But from then on, we flew to Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley investors are naturally more risk. What's the word? Risk. They embrace pro risk. They embrace risk. So if you can explain the problem, you can explain your solution. They're going to believe in you. But same with the UK. So the startup environment in the UK is very well developed. So that's why I was in London. I spoke at a Future of Law event, but from there I made quite a number of connections. I actually have Matthew to thank. So he forced me to attend this event, and I had limited space to meet my final few investors. I had a 20-minute meeting before I had to rush off to the airport, but that 20-minute meeting proved to be our closing round investor. So I think someone's talking about the FOMO factor. Yeah. I said, if you guys don't invest now, I'm going back to Australia and I'll finish it off. Like, we only had 250K left to finish off our round, and he signed on the day. So
that's crazy.
It was good.
It's really down to the line. Yeah, congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
They're good stories. Do you have any war stories over there? Have you walked into a meeting, somebody just like gave you really bad rejection or just didn't get your vision? You don't get rejected, right?
Because the problem's so big, I think I can really sell the opportunity. So again, being able to really sell your problem and being able to sell your solution, you should be confident enough that everyone will be able to get it. If they don't get it, then you're doing it wrong. I haven't had that many rejections, but what I have had is people saying that valuation is ridiculous. So Matthew's told me that on numerous occasions. But I guess that's another lesson to be had. Don't listen to me, guys. Don't listen to James. Like, there's so many people who are going to give you advice. Before I started, I attended all these events and I was like, this just doesn't make sense to me. I think, what are the stats? For every 100 businesses, only one's going to be successful.
Yeah, like that.
And yet, you listen to people like us. If there's only one that's going to be successful, what the hell are you listening? Really, only accept the advice that makes... Oh, I'm serious. I only accept the advice that makes sense to you. If I listen to these guys at this... Not you. If I listen to these people at the start, everyone was telling me, your valuation is ridiculous. You're not going to raise that money at that val. I wouldn't be here today. People were telling me, oh, lawyers are risk averse and they're going to listen to you. I wouldn't be here today. So you really have to trust your gut. At the end of the day, it is a storytelling thing. It's a confidence thing. You have to sell your vision. You have to sell your product. And who am I to tell you that your business isn't worth 100 mil? If you can back that up, back it up.
No, that's such unique and transparent and authentic advice, right? Because you hear it a lot that all these stats that go against you, but also on the flip side of that, you also hear all these people who have let the market dictate where they go, right? And Brennan's a great example of this. The same would go for Uber. Like, when Uber was first pitched, get in a car with a stranger, right? They'd be laughed out the room. Same with Airbnb. Airbnb couldn't close for ages. Go live in a stranger's house that you've never met before in another country, right? But at the end of the day, if there's a problem, you let the market dictate whether there is like a sufficient demand for the solution. And LawAdvisor is a really good testament to something that's a really burgeoning, like, hot startup. And again, like, it's a testament to Brennan as a founder. Yeah, fantastic.
Thanks, mate.
Okay, so niceties aside, can you walk us through, okay, like, you've been featured a lot in PR, or we've seen you a lot in like tech press, in Australian press as well. What are the advantages for you of getting PR, and did you think it was like a strategy at the start? Was it like, okay, let's go after PR for investing?
Yeah. So, sorry, just thinking back. So we launched LawAdvisor end of July last year.
Yeah.
We really did want to focus on generating the right PR. So we
just quickly put that in perspective. Like, July last year, that's not even 12 months, right? So again, yay for Brennan. Yeah.
There's a lot of love here. He's been working out, and I've noticed.
I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, so going back to it, I saw that there was a danger for people calling us like an Uber for law marketplace. That wouldn't fly with lawyers. So what we wanted to do instead was craft the right messaging, get the right PR experts on board, and ensure that anything that was spoken about LawAdvisor didn't have that term or connotation. So, Tinder for lawyers. I think I'll need that. maybe our next product. But yeah, we were really careful about generating the right buzz, generating the right PR, and telling the right story. We really wanted to instill a sense of confidence amongst our lawyer clients, and for that to happen, we needed to prove that, okay, we are actually experts in the industry, in the profession. It's been built by lawyers, it's been built by a guy who built the Supreme Court product, and from there, we generated enough confidence and enough support for our vision. We've got over 1,000 lawyers on the system now, and every day, I think we average around 20 new clients. So LawAdvisor is going well, but still, like, I still don't have a business model. We just wanted to prove that we're solving the problem, and we've gotten away with that so far. But for Series A, I think we need that business model. So I might give you a buzz. You can write the 200-pager for me.
So like, okay, that's really interesting, right? So you've said a number of times now you don't have a business model, and that's reasonably contrarian in terms of like what people tell you need to be in a pitch. Can you walk us through like what goes on in a pitch? So you walk into a room, say Silicon Valley, UK, wherever. Can you walk us through like that elevator pitch or like the 5 minutes that goes on?
Yeah, so again, the storytelling thing, so it's really, really important. So I tell them about me, my background. You want to establish that you are the expert, you are the person who can solve this problem. That's super important. Once you can establish that, they're hooked. They know no one else is doing a PhD in the future of law. So sorry, I don't mean to sound cocky, but I just finished the fundraising thing, and naturally you actually need to exude confidence. They're not going to give millions of dollars into you if you're this really shy and reserved person. You do need to exude that confidence. You need to back yourself. You need to tell them, okay, you are the expert in this industry, so I'll start off with that. Then you talk to them about the problem. So 8.5 million legal disputes, oversupply of lawyers problem, we're going to fix that. What's the other problem? There's so many solo practitioners out there using inferior technology. So they're working with their clients using things like Dropbox, Evernote, Slack, but for a legal project, those systems aren't going to fly. So we built our own unique cloud-based case management system, taking into account legal workflows, taking into account securities. So that's also another big problem. Then you take them through your solution, give them a demo of the product, and from there tell them whether they're either in or they're out. Again, don't waste time, guys. Even these investors, they don't have much time either. They have to know what you're looking from them, what the value of your round is, how much you're looking for, and what you're going to do with the money. But again, don't waste time. Really put the pressure on. Really put the FOMO factor on.
No, awesome. So my last question before I open it to the floor for a couple of questions from the crowd would be, if you could go back and speak to yourself before you started LawAdvisor, what is one thing you would tell yourself?
I've learned so many things. One thing. 2. Actually stopped. Look for the right people very, very early on. So one of my problems right now, we have raised quite a lot of money now. I'm growing the team, and again, I'm the solo founder because I can't really work with many people. And now we're building out the team, and I'm getting used to that. Getting used to different personalities, getting used to developing the right culture. I think though, if you can identify people very early on, if you can establish what kind of culture you want to build within your company, you can really fast track this teething process. So I'm in the teething process right now. How do I manage my staff? How do I manage expectations? Are they in it for the journey, or are they in it just for a significant payday? The startup ecosystem in Australia is still quite new. So everyone working in the startup, your staff naturally think that they're going to be the next Zuckerberg's right-hand man. Like, it's managing those expectations, which is really, really hard. Like, you want these people with you. You want them sharing your vision. You want them to go on board the journey. But then again, how do you tell them that at the end of the day, it's a risk? You can't afford them to pay market rates. There is a chance that they could get a significant payout, but there's also a very, very big risk that they've sacrificed their job, and there's no guarantee.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, like, really honest. Okay, yeah, up to the floor.
If I can ask, using some of your legal background, given that you're into leading technology, cutting technology as a solution, what have you put in play to protect yourself from people copying your solution? So you might not have copyright protection or patent right. So how quickly do you have to get the product to market, or to create an environment for investors not to fear that some of your revenue will be lost by someone copying your idea?
Yeah. Really. Pardon?
Can you just repeat the question?
The question was, how do you protect your
IP.
How do you protect your IP versus speed to market?
Well, no, it's not just IP, because it can be a concept.
Which is IP.
Well, to an extent.
Yeah. So you can't really protect an idea, right? So again, it's a really good question. So I get asked this all the time, like, have you patented your idea? No, I haven't. I haven't got a business plan because I don't have time to do all that. I think, sorry, just being upfront.
It's true, right? Yeah.
Being upfront. What we're building is not really novel. We're taking into account a lot of novel techniques to integrate it all together to form the ecosystem. So deep down already knew, like, to get a patent application through, that's not only expensive and costly, it's got to be overly time consuming, and the risk wasn't worth it. Instead, I really focused on the speed to market idea. If we can launch to market, I know that we've got a unique story, we can really create that network effect and hopefully gain kind of like a monopolistic advantage. So I was really focused on the speed to market idea. But that's, you should really look for IP ways, and that's why we built LawAdvisor actually, so you can talk to IP lawyers, get their insights straight away for less cost.
Your thoughts around staying and building a business in Melbourne versus potentially relocating to the Valley?
The Silicon Valley investors, they want you to locate to the Valley. So they want to be able to see you, they want to be able to talk to you, so they do really want you to locate. But some of the investors over there, they see the Australian market as really unique, so they've noticed what Atlassian have done. So Australian startups are pretty hot in the Valley. If you can monopolize this market, they will give you money. Another answer to that though, I recently got back from the UK, and I just feel like our product in the UK would actually have a bit more traction. So I feel like now is the right time to actually launch in the UK. So we're planning on launching there in August, but after doing the Future of Law event there, like we spoke to so many investors and so many law firms that are just willing to double down on a product like this. Whereas meeting law firms here, I gift wrap them a client and they still want me to speak to their CEOs, they want me to speak to the partner. It's such a long process. Whereas over there, I just feel like the market's ripe, they're looking for products like this, and that would probably get me over the line to relocate. But
We got time for one more question.
When you
go for it.
you're
I just thought we needed a bit more gender diversity. But
a very strong founder for the problem you're trying to solve, you would have had a hunch of the people you wanted to join your team early on. Investors would have given you their advice on who they wanted in your team. Where's that landed?
I'm a salesman, so I was able to speak really highly about the people in my team. So the investors haven't really questioned that because of what we've achieved and our scale. They haven't really questioned that, but they have introduced me to a lot of really cool guys. So recently we hired the head of SEO and SEM from TripAdvisor. Ex-VP of Twitter's on our team. The guy who invented WebRTC. Yeah, some pretty cool names
Yeah, that's
now.
awesome. That's really fantastic. All right, guys, we've run out of time for this session, so a huge round of applause for Brennan for sharing the story.